Ladies and gentlemen, heartbreak is a deeply personal experience, one that often leaves us feeling lost, broken, and questioning our worth. When someone we love leaves our lives, it's easy to feel as though a part of ourselves has been taken away. But perhaps the greatest misunderstanding we face during heartbreak is believing that our pain is caused entirely by someone else. In truth, the pain we feel is born from the meaning we have assigned to the experience, to the person, and to ourselves in relation to them. Pain often stems from the stories we tell ourselves. We look back at the relationship and see it as proof of our worth or lack thereof. We believe that their presence validated our value and their absence now diminishes it. This is an illusion, albeit a powerful one. The source of love, security, and self-worth has never been external. These things have always been within us. The relationship may have served as a mirror, reflecting the love we already carried, but it was never the source. Imagination is a powerful tool. In the wake of heartbreak, it can become a way to rebuild and transform. When you close your eyes and envision yourself as someone whole, radiant, and free of the pain you're carrying, you are not escaping reality. You are actively creating a new one. Your mind does not differentiate between what is imagined with feeling and what is experienced in the external world. This is why imagining yourself in a state of peace and self-love is so transformative. It aligns your inner state with the life you want to live. Pain, though overwhelming, is not without purpose. It is a catalyst, one that often forces us to confront truths we have avoided for too long. Heartbreak strips away the layers we've built to protect ourselves, exposing the core of who we are. It reveals our fears, our insecurities, and the parts of us that we've neglected. But it also gives us the opportunity to rebuild, to create a version of ourselves that is stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Every moment of pain is an opportunity to grow. It teaches us resilience and the importance of self-reliance. It shows us that we are capable of surviving even when the things we thought we couldn't live without are gone. Heartbreak is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of a new chapter, one where you are the author of your own happiness. The key to healing lies in assuming the feelings you wish to experience. This is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending you're unaffected. It's about making a conscious choice to focus on the version of yourself that is already thriving, even if it feels distant in the moment. By embracing the feelings of being loved, cherished, and whole, you create a foundation for those experiences to manifest in your life. The more you dwell in the emotional state of love, the more it becomes your natural state of being. Letting go is one of the most challenging yet liberating aspects of heartbreak. This does not mean forgetting the person or the memories you shared. It means releasing the need for answers, closure, or validation from someone else. It means trusting that you are enough, regardless of what anyone else chooses to do or say. Letting go is an act of self-love, a declaration that your peace and happiness are worth more than dwelling on a past that cannot be changed. The power to heal and move forward has always been within you. Heartbreak often feels like something that happens to us, something out of our control. But the truth is, we are not victims of circumstance. We are the creators of our reality. The way we perceive heartbreak, the meaning we give it, and the steps we take to heal are all within our power to control. This is not an easy truth to accept, especially in the midst of pain, but it is a truth that holds the key to freedom. Your worth has never been dependent on anyone else's presence in your life. The love you seek from others is a reflection of the love you have the capacity to give yourself. When you learn to love and value yourself unconditionally, you no longer need someone else to validate your existence. You become whole, and from that place of wholeness, you attract relationships that complement your life rather than define it. Heartbreak is not a punishment, it is a teacher. It forces you to look within and confront the parts of yourself that have been waiting for your attention. It is an opportunity to redefine what love means to you and to cultivate a relationship with yourself that is based on acceptance, compassion, and strength. The journey from pain to self-love is not linear. There will be moments of doubt, of grief, and of longing. But with every step you take toward loving and valuing yourself, you transform heartbreak into a source of power. The most beautiful realization is that you are not dependent on anyone else for your happiness or your worth. These things have always been yours to claim. By choosing to focus on your inner world, you create a life that is rich with love, joy, and fulfillment, one that is not dictated by external circumstances, but is instead a reflection of the limitless love you carry within. Heartbreak can feel like an overwhelming force, one that shakes the very foundation of who we are. When someone we love leaves our lives, it's as though part of us is torn away, leaving an empty space we struggle to fill. This void often leads to feelings of loss, loneliness, and even confusion. The immediate instinct is to look outward, searching for something or someone to heal the wound. However, the true path to healing begins not in the world around us, but within ourselves. At the core of this healing process is the understanding that love and self-worth are not external. They don't depend on anyone else's presence or absence. Heartbreak is an opportunity to reclaim our sense of self, to understand that we are not defined by another person's actions or feelings. The love that we seek, the strength we desire, and the peace we crave all come from within. In moments of emotional pain, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that the heartbreak defines us, that we are incomplete without the person who has left. But this perspective only keeps us trapped in the cycle of hurt. Instead, we must shift our mindset. The pain we feel is not the result of the other person's actions alone, it's the result of the stories we've told ourselves about who we are in relation to them. This realization is empowering because it means we have the ability to change the narrative. Instead of seeing ourselves as victims of heartbreak, we can choose to see ourselves as survivors, creators, and healers. This transformation is not about denying the pain or pretending to be unaffected. It's about recognizing that the pain is temporary and that it holds valuable lessons. It teaches us about the parts of ourselves that need healing, about our fears, our insecurities, and our unhealed wounds. It gives us the opportunity to grow, to strengthen our sense of self, and to step into a new version of ourselves that is more resilient, more compassionate, and more whole. One of the most powerful tools at our disposal during this healing process is our imagination. Our mind has the capacity to create realities, to visualize and embody the version of ourselves that we desire to become. In the wake of heartbreak, we may feel disconnected from the person we once were, confused, lost, or uncertain. But through the power of imagination, we can reconnect with the person we know we are at our core. We can imagine ourselves healed, whole, and radiating self-love. By mentally stepping into this version of ourselves, we begin to shift our internal state and create a new reality. This process isn't about escapism. It's not about pretending the pain doesn't exist. It's about reclaiming our power. When we use our imagination to envision ourselves as strong, confident, and loved, we are not simply wishing for these things to come to us. We are aligning our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with the reality we want to create. Our mind, body, and spirit all begin to resonate with this new state of being, and as a result, the external world begins to reflect it. In the midst of heartbreak, we often find ourselves focusing on what we've lost. It's natural to mourn the end of a relationship, especially one that seemed to hold so much promise. But when we focus solely on the loss, we neglect the opportunity for growth. Heartbreak is not the end of the road, it's a new beginning. It's a chance to reevaluate our lives, to rediscover our passions, and to realign ourselves with our true purpose. Each moment of pain can become a moment of transformation. The very pain we feel is a catalyst for growth, teaching us about our capacity for resilience. It forces us to confront parts of ourselves that we've neglected or ignored. Through this process, we learn that we are not as fragile as we once believed. We discover that we can face adversity, grow from it, and become even stronger in the process. This journey from heartbreak to self-love is not a quick fix. It's not a process that can be rushed or skipped. It's a gradual unfolding, a journey that requires patience and self-compassion. There will be days when the pain feels unbearable, and that's okay. Healing doesn't happen in a straight line. But every time we choose to see ourselves as worthy, every time we practice self-compassion and forgiveness, we are taking another step toward healing. The most powerful thing we can do in the wake of heartbreak is to choose to love ourselves unconditionally and without reservation. This doesn't mean we ignore our pain or pretend everything is fine. It means we acknowledge our pain and treat ourselves with the same kindness and care we would offer to a close friend. Self-love isn't about perfection, it's about accepting ourselves as we are, flaws and all, and recognizing that we are deserving of love and happiness. As we begin to heal, we also begin to understand that our worth is not dependent on the presence or actions of others. We are complete as we are. The relationships we form with others are an extension of the love and respect we have for ourselves. When we value ourselves, we naturally attract relationships that are based on mutual respect, understanding, and love. The right people will enter our lives not because we need them to fill a void, but because we are already whole. Heartbreak may have shaken us, but it doesn't define us. It is merely a chapter in the story of our lives, one that is filled with lessons, growth, and eventual healing. Through the pain, we have the opportunity to rediscover who we truly are and to build a life that is grounded in self-love, strength, and resilience. The love we seek is already within us, and once we realize this, we become unstoppable. We become whole. And from that place of wholeness, we create a life filled with peace, joy, and love. Heartbreak can often feel like the most powerful force in our lives. It can leave us questioning everything we once knew about love, ourselves, and the future. When someone we care about leaves, it is natural to feel as though a piece of us has been taken, and we are left struggling to find our way again. The pain is real and overwhelming, often consuming us with feelings of sadness, loss, and confusion. However, despite the deep sorrow that accompanies heartbreak, there is an inherent opportunity for transformation that lies within this painful experience. The pain we feel does not have to be a permanent scar. Instead, it can become the very catalyst for our growth, strength, and ultimate healing. The key to transforming pain into strength is understanding that pain is not something to avoid, suppress, or run from. While the instinct may be to numb the pain or wish it away, doing so only delays the healing process. The pain, in its rawest form, is a teacher. It reveals the parts of ourselves that need attention and healing. It forces us to confront our vulnerabilities, our fears, and the beliefs that have held us back. Instead of seeing pain as a negative experience to endure, we must recognize it as an opportunity to rebuild our sense of self and resilience. One of the first steps in transforming pain into strength is acknowledging it. We must allow ourselves to feel the full range of emotions that come with heartbreak, whether it's sadness, anger, or even frustration. These emotions are a natural response to the end of a relationship, and suppressing them only prolongs the healing process. By embracing these feelings, we give ourselves permission to experience them fully and let them move through us. Denying our emotions only causes them to linger longer, preventing us from moving forward. Once we acknowledge the pain, the next step is to understand the lessons it offers. Every heartbreak holds a lesson, whether it's about love, personal boundaries, or self-worth. The end of a relationship often brings clarity about what we truly value in a partner and in ourselves. Perhaps we were settling for less than we deserved, or maybe we were neglecting our own needs in the name of love. Heartbreak forces us to reevaluate our values and what we truly want from a relationship. This introspection can become a powerful tool for personal growth. By recognizing the patterns that led to the heartbreak, we can make conscious choices in the future that align with our authentic desires and needs. Transforming pain into strength also requires us to cultivate self-compassion. When we are in the midst of heartbreak, it's easy to be hard on ourselves. We may blame ourselves for the relationship's failure or question our worth. But self-compassion is essential in the healing process. Instead of beating ourselves up for what we think we could have done differently, we need to extend kindness to ourselves. We must remember that we are human, that relationships are complex, and that heartbreak is part of the journey of life. By being kind to ourselves and allowing ourselves the space to heal, we create the conditions for strength to emerge. Another powerful way to transform pain into strength is by focusing on personal growth. Heartbreak often leaves us feeling empty and lost, but it also provides us with an opportunity to reconnect with ourselves. This is the time to invest in our passions, rediscover our hobbies, and cultivate our sense of identity outside of the relationship. It's easy to lose ourselves in a relationship, especially when we've invested so much time and energy into it. When the relationship ends, it can feel like we're left with nothing. However, this emptiness can be a fertile ground for growth. It's an invitation to explore who we are at our core and what brings us joy and fulfillment. By nurturing our own well-being and happiness, we become stronger, more confident, and more resilient. While we heal, it's important to remind ourselves that transformation takes time. Strength does not emerge overnight, nor does healing happen in a straight line. There will be days when the pain feels unbearable, and other days when we begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is part of the process. We must be patient with ourselves and trust that over time the pain will subside and strength will begin to replace it. It's important to recognize that healing is not about forgetting the past or erasing the pain. It's about finding peace with it and moving forward in a more empowered way. The journey of transforming pain into strength is also about finding purpose in the pain. Heartbreak, while difficult, is not the end of the road. It is a part of the larger journey of life, one that is filled with both joy and sorrow, love and loss. Every experience we go through shapes us into who we are meant to become. The pain of heartbreak can refine us, just as fire refines gold. As we move through the pain and grow from it, we discover an inner strength that we may not have known existed. We become more compassionate, more understanding, and more connected to our true selves. Transforming pain into strength is a process of reclaiming our power. Heartbreak may have shaken us, but it does not have to define us. It does not have to control our future or our sense of worth. The strength we seek lies within us, waiting to be unlocked. By choosing to see pain as an opportunity for growth, by embracing self-compassion, and by focusing on personal transformation, we can move through heartbreak and emerge stronger than before. Through this process, we discover that our worth is not dependent on the presence of another person, but on our ability to love and value ourselves. Heartbreak, in all its pain, becomes a stepping stone to a life of greater self-awareness, self-love, and resilience. It teaches us that no matter what we go through, we have the ability to heal, to grow, and to become stronger with each passing day. When we experience heartbreak, it often feels like a part of us has been shattered, leaving us to pick up the pieces of our lives. The emotional pain can be overwhelming, and it can feel as though we will never recover from the loss. In these moments, it's easy to believe that our healing depends on external factors, on the return of the person we lost, or on finding someone new to fill the void. However, the path to healing is not solely determined by external circumstances. True healing begins within, and it starts with the way we perceive and approach our pain. One of the most transformative tools we have in this process is the ability to assume the feeling of what we desire, whether it's love, peace, or self-worth, by embodying the emotions and mindset we wish to experience. At first glance, this might seem like a difficult concept to grasp, especially in the midst of heartbreak. How can we feel whole when we feel so broken? How can we feel loved when we feel abandoned? The key to understanding this process is recognizing that our emotions and beliefs are powerful forces in shaping our reality. When we continuously focus on the absence of love or on the pain of heartbreak, we are reinforcing a state of lack and emptiness within us. This only prolongs the suffering and keeps us trapped in a cycle of despair. Instead, we must focus on what we truly desire, whether it's healing, love, or peace, and begin to feel those emotions as if they are already present in our lives. The practice of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is rooted in the understanding that our feelings and emotions shape our reality. If we want to experience love, for example, we must begin by cultivating love within ourselves. This doesn't mean we ignore or suppress the pain of heartbreak. It means that, while acknowledging our pain, we actively choose to feel the emotions that align with the reality we want to create. Instead of focusing on the absence of love, we focus on the presence of love. We focus on the love we have for ourselves, the love that exists within us, and the love that is waiting for us in the future. One of the most powerful aspects of this practice is that we do not need to wait for external circumstances to change in order to begin feeling the emotions we desire. We can choose to feel loved, peaceful, and whole right now, regardless of the situation. This might seem challenging at first, especially when we feel consumed by pain, but it is through this act of choosing our emotions that we begin to shift our energy and our perception of reality. The more we align ourselves with the feeling of love or peace, the more we attract those experiences into our lives. To begin this practice, it's helpful to focus on the emotions you wish to experience. For example, if you desire to feel loved, start by thinking of a moment in your life when you felt deeply loved and cherished. It could be a memory from childhood, a special moment with a friend or family member, or even a time when you felt a deep connection with yourself. Allow yourself to fully immerse in the emotions you felt during that time. Relive the sensations, the warmth, and the comfort that love brings. Let yourself feel that love now in this moment. The more you can connect to the feeling of love, the more you begin to embody it in your present reality. It's also important to practice self-love as part of this process. In the aftermath of heartbreak, we often become our own harshest critics. We blame ourselves for what happened, question our worth, or believe that we are somehow unworthy of love. This negative self-talk only perpetuates the feeling of lack. Instead, we must choose to be kind to ourselves. We must speak to ourselves with the same love, compassion, and understanding that we would offer to a dear friend. By practicing self-love, we reinforce the feeling of being worthy of love and healing, which in turn attracts more of that energy into our lives. This practice of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled also involves trusting the process of healing and transformation. Heartbreak can make us feel like we are stuck in an endless cycle of pain. But when we begin to embody the emotions of healing, we begin to shift the energy within us. Healing is not a linear process, and it doesn't happen overnight. However, by consistently choosing to feel whole, loved, and at peace, we create the conditions necessary for healing to occur. The more we align ourselves with the feelings we desire, the more we begin to attract those experiences, both internally and externally. In addition to practicing self-love and healing, it's important to focus on what we want to create in the future. Often after a heartbreak, we are focused on the past, on what went wrong, or on what we have lost. This can keep us stuck in the past and prevent us from moving forward. By assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, we shift our focus to the future and begin to envision the life we want to create. Instead of dwelling on the absence of love, we begin to visualize a future where we are loved, happy, and whole. We allow ourselves to feel the emotions associated with that future as if they are already our reality. This creates a sense of possibility and excitement for the future, and helps us move forward with hope and confidence. The practice of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is about taking control of our emotions and our inner state. When we begin to embody the feelings of love, peace, and self-worth, we are no longer dependent on external circumstances to determine our happiness. We recognize that our true source of power lies within us. Through this practice, we heal ourselves from the inside out, and in doing so, we attract the love, peace, and happiness that we desire. It is through the feeling of the wish fulfilled that we transform our pain into strength and our heartbreak into a powerful opportunity for growth and self-love. Heartbreak often leaves us feeling as though we are trapped in an endless cycle of pain, unable to move forward. It's as if the love we once shared with someone has become a heavy weight, pulling us backward, preventing us from embracing the future. The process of letting go can feel like one of the most difficult challenges we face, especially when we feel deeply attached to someone or something. We may find ourselves holding on to the memories, the hope, or the idea of what could have been. However, true healing and emotional freedom can only come when we let go with grace, releasing the past and embracing the possibilities that lie ahead. Letting go is not about forgetting or dismissing the significance of the relationship or the experiences we've had. It's not about pretending that the love we felt was never real or that the pain doesn't matter. Letting go with grace means releasing the emotional hold that the past has over us, so we can create space for new opportunities, growth, and healing. It's about acknowledging the importance of what we've been through, without allowing it to dictate the direction of our lives moving forward. The first step in letting go is to accept the reality of the situation. This means accepting that the relationship is over, and that the person is no longer a part of our lives in the way they once were. This can be a difficult truth to face, especially if we feel that we haven't had closure or that we were not ready for the relationship to end. Acceptance doesn't mean we agree with what happened or that we are okay with the pain it has caused. It simply means we acknowledge that this chapter of our lives is complete and it's time to move on. By accepting the reality of the situation, we stop resisting the truth and open ourselves up to the healing process. Resisting the reality of a breakup only prolongs our suffering. We may find ourselves constantly replaying the events of the relationship or holding on to a fantasy of how things could have turned out differently. These thoughts are natural, but they prevent us from healing. Letting go requires us to stop living in the past and start focusing on the present. It means allowing ourselves to grieve, but also allowing ourselves to move through that grief, step by step, without being stuck in it forever. Another essential aspect of letting go with grace is forgiving ourselves and the other person. In the wake of heartbreak, it's easy to assign blame, whether it's blaming ourselves for not doing things differently or blaming the other person for the hurt they caused. Holding on to resentment or regret only keeps us bound to the past. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is an act of liberation. When we forgive, we release the emotional charge that the past holds over us. Forgiveness doesn't mean we condone any hurtful actions or pretend that everything was fine. It simply means we choose to release the anger and pain that keeps us tied to the past and instead choose peace and healing for ourselves. Forgiving the other person doesn't always come easily, and it doesn't happen instantly. It's a process that requires patience and self-compassion. At times we may find ourselves angry or upset, and that's okay. The key is to allow ourselves to feel those emotions without letting them control us. Over time, the act of forgiveness becomes a way to free ourselves from the emotional burden we've been carrying. It's not about the other person, it's about giving ourselves the gift of emotional freedom. Letting go also involves releasing expectations of the future. After a heartbreak, we often hold on to hopes that things will work out, or that we will one day be reunited with the person we've lost. These expectations can keep us stuck in a state of longing, preventing us from moving on and creating new possibilities. Letting go means relinquishing our attachment to how we think things should be and allowing ourselves to accept what is. By releasing expectations, we create the freedom to explore new opportunities, to open ourselves up to new experiences, and to trust that the future will unfold in ways we may not yet understand. It's important to remember that letting go doesn't mean we stop caring about the person or that we erase the love we once shared. Love is not something that disappears overnight. Instead, letting go with grace means we transform our attachment to that person. We shift from a place of clinging to a place of appreciation for what the relationship brought into our lives. We acknowledge that the love we shared was meaningful, but we no longer allow it to define us or dictate our emotional state. By honoring the love we've experienced without holding on to it, we allow ourselves to release the attachment and move forward. Part of letting go is also learning to embrace the unknown. After a breakup, we often find ourselves overwhelmed by the uncertainty of the future. We may worry about what comes next, or if we will ever find love again. However, the unknown is not something to fear. It's an opportunity for growth and exploration. By embracing the unknown, we free ourselves from the need for control and open ourselves to new experiences, relationships, and adventures that we cannot yet foresee. Letting go with grace also involves a deep commitment to self-care. During the process of letting go, it's easy to neglect our own well-being as we focus on the pain of the breakup. But healing requires us to nurture ourselves physically, emotionally, and mentally. This means giving ourselves the time and space to grieve, but also engaging in activities that bring us joy, peace, and fulfillment. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, engaging in creative pursuits, or simply taking care of our physical health, self-care is an essential part of the healing process. Letting go with grace does not mean that the pain of heartbreak disappears immediately. It's a journey that takes time and patience. There will be days when the memories resurface and the grief feels overwhelming. But over time, as we let go and release our attachments to the past, the pain becomes more manageable and we find ourselves moving toward healing. By letting go with grace, we open ourselves up to the beauty of the present moment and the possibilities that lie ahead. The past no longer holds us back, and we can embrace the future with hope and a renewed sense of peace. When we experience heartbreak, it often feels like a loss of control. The person we love may have left, or the relationship may have ended, and in the aftermath we feel vulnerable, confused, and powerless. Our emotional world can feel chaotic, and we might question our own worth or the validity of our feelings. In these moments of uncertainty, we may begin to doubt our ability to shape our lives or take charge of our future. However, one of the most transformative things we can do during this time is to reclaim our operant power, the ability to take conscious control of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, even in the midst of heartbreak. Reclaiming our operant power begins with the recognition that we have the ability to choose how we respond to circumstances, even those as painful as heartbreak. It's easy to feel like a victim when things don't go our way, especially in the face of loss. We may feel helpless, as though we have no control over what's happening to us. However, the truth is that while we cannot control other people's actions or the events that occur in our lives, we can control our own response to them. By choosing how we react to the pain, we begin to regain control of our emotional state and our path forward. The first step in reclaiming our operant power is to take responsibility for our own feelings. It's common to blame others for how we feel, especially when we've been hurt. We might believe that someone else's actions or words have the power to define our emotions. But the reality is that no one else can make us feel a certain way without our consent. Our feelings are a direct reflection of the thoughts and beliefs we hold about ourselves and the world. By recognizing that we are responsible for how we feel, we empower ourselves to change our emotional state. This doesn't mean we ignore or suppress our pain. On the contrary, acknowledging and fully experiencing our emotions is an important part of the healing process. However, reclaiming our operant power means that we stop allowing those emotions to control us. We recognize that we are not our pain, it is simply something we are experiencing in the moment. We choose not to let the pain define who we are or dictate how we move forward. By detaching ourselves from the belief that we are victims of our emotions, we take back the power to decide how we want to feel. Once we take responsibility for our emotions, the next step in reclaiming our operant power is to shift our focus. In the aftermath of heartbreak, it's easy to become consumed by the past, replaying conversations, imagining different outcomes, or wondering what went wrong. These thoughts can keep us stuck in a state of emotional paralysis. To reclaim our power, we must consciously shift our focus away from what has happened and toward what we can control in the present. We must redirect our attention to the things that bring us peace, joy, and fulfillment. This shift in focus involves being present with ourselves and our current reality. It means choosing to engage with the world around us instead of being trapped in our thoughts. Whether it's spending time with friends, pursuing a hobby, or simply taking care of ourselves, Redirecting our focus toward what we can control helps to reestablish a sense of agency and empowerment. When we take small actions that nourish our well-being, we begin to reclaim our personal power and reinforce the belief that we are capable of creating positive change in our lives. Another critical aspect of reclaiming our operant power is the practice of self-love. After a heartbreak, it's common to feel as though we are not worthy of love or that something is inherently wrong with us. We may doubt our value, question our attractiveness, or wonder why the relationship didn't work. However, in these moments, it's crucial to remember that our worth is not determined by someone else's actions or opinions. We are inherently valuable, regardless of external circumstances. Self-love means treating ourselves with kindness, compassion, and respect, especially during times of pain. It means choosing to speak to ourselves in an encouraging, uplifting way, rather than indulging in negative self-talk. When we love ourselves, we empower ourselves to make decisions that align with our highest good. We stop looking to others to validate our worth and instead begin to validate ourselves. By practicing self-love, we strengthen our ability to navigate difficult emotions and regain our sense of personal power. Reclaiming our operant power also involves embracing the present moment and the possibilities that lie ahead. Heartbreak often creates a sense of uncertainty about the future. We may fear that we will never experience love again or that we will always carry the scars of this pain. However, the present moment is where we hold the most power. It is in the present that we can choose to shift our focus, take action, and create new experiences for ourselves. By embracing the present, we open ourselves up to new opportunities and new beginnings. We recognize that just because something ended doesn't mean that all possibilities are closed. In fact, endings are often the beginning of something new. By reclaiming our operant power, we choose to move forward, knowing that we have the ability to shape our future. We stop allowing the past to define us and instead take ownership of the life we are creating. Reclaiming our operant power also requires us to trust in our ability to heal. Heartbreak can leave us feeling fragile and vulnerable, as though we may never recover. But the truth is that we have an innate ability to heal and grow. Just as we have weathered challenges in the past, we are capable of navigating this one. By trusting in our own resilience and giving ourselves the time and space we need to heal, we reinforce the belief that we have the power to overcome anything. Reclaiming our operant power is about recognizing our own strength and autonomy. It's about taking control of our emotional state, our actions, and our choices. When we reclaim our power, we stop waiting for someone else to change, and we start focusing on our own growth and transformation. Through this process, we rediscover our inner strength, and we emerge from heartbreak more resilient, empowered, and ready to embrace the future with a renewed sense of purpose.